Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 40 of the Essential Zodiac Podcast. I'm your host, Cynthia McNulty.
And I'm Audrey Famine.
In this episode, we will be discussing the full moon in Aquarius. But first, as I mentioned, Essential Zodiac is celebrating 10 years of bringing to you an understanding of the cosmos. So, as a thank you for being such loyal clients, all services will be discounted 10% during the month of August. There will be other specials throughout the month, and you can find all the information on my website under Essential Zodiac birthday promotions and on Essential Zodiac's Facebook page. Now, the full moon in Aquarius. August, as a matter of fact, has a total of 2 full moons, one right at the start of the month and one right at the very end. I'll be talking about the latter full moon in episode 42, and that will air on August 25th. So right now, we're going to concern ourselves with the full moon in Aquarius that takes place on August 1st. Now, both of those moons, though, as an aside, are in the humanitarian signs of Aquarius and Pisces, making August the perfect cosmic window to reach out, connect, and find belonging, even if that's an inside job. So, as I said, let's talk about the full moon in Aquarius now. This moon has its roots in the very first new moon of 2023, which was also in Aquarius, and that was on January 21st. This moon planted the seeds of what we are seeing come to fruition right now. What did you dream of back then? How did you imagine the year would turn out? What kinds of intentions did you plant when it came to your highest aspirations? So take a few minutes, and think about the answers to those questions. We still have a lot of year and a lot of astrology to work through. So if things still need a push, now is the time to take advantage in the nice, still heat of summer. So Aquarius is a true utopian in every sense of the word. If you have friends and loved ones whose sun is in Aquarius, you know that those folks, their glass is always half full. They're the dreamers. They're creative. They're air, Aquarius is an air sign, so they're very cerebral. With 2 feet firmly planted in the future, Aquarius is the sign of hope and faith. There's always better coming, according to Aquarians, and that's very true. Now, we may see certain friendships and communities begin to bear fruit, particularly if we set out to connect with new groups that aligned with our own philosophies and ideologies. So back in, the early days of the year, did you reach out to groups that interested you, and where are you now with those groups? Maybe now we can begin to see how fully ensconced we've become with that group. Yet we may also see the opposite unfold, in which we remove ourselves from societies that no longer resonate or make us feel accepted. Both scenarios are a necessary part of our social evolution. So as time has marched on and more toxic information has come forward, it seems like almost every day there's something that we need to pay attention to. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It can get exhausting, so remember your self-care. But, where do you have to draw the line? with friends or organizations that no longer, align with your sensibilities. Are they marginalizing certain groups for no good reason? So it's really something that you want to pay attention to. Of course, we need to keep in mind the sun lies opposite in fiery, heart-centered Leo. Leo is a fixed fire sign, so it has a lot of energy. And it has a tendency, though, to stay put. I'm a Leo, and when I have a thought about something, usually it's pretty entrenched there. You have to give me good facts and figures, not just because to change my mind. So the juxtaposition of Aquarius's focus on the intellect and the future, and Leo's anchoring in the heart and the present, is something to ponder during this lunation. Balance is always important, with these two signs being what's known as fixed modalities. There is a potential that we get a little stuck between now and soon, between head and heart, between romance and friendship. What needs healing here? What conversations do we need to have, and how can we have them with heart? How can we find equilibrium between what stirs our passion versus what we know we have to do to serve our future? So again, that's something to ponder, You always want to keep the future in front of you. Now, both the sun and moon are linked to Jupiter via a square, which, because Jupiter is a beneficial planet, isn't a bad thing. Usually, squares mean conflict. And really, in this way, it kind of tones down, because Jupiter could be extra. I mean, we all know that. It's the planet of abundance, and sometimes it can get out of hand. In fact, Jupiter is connected by Mars in a trine, and this promises a focus on the material aspects of our dreams. Aquarius can be pie in the sky, preferring to float amongst the starry realms of ideas and dreams, instead of having their feet firmly planted on terra firma. This earthly connection of Mars and Jupiter balances that out, allows us to manifest said dreams. The square may have many of us going to extremes or becoming overconfident, arrogant, or even condescending at worst. Yet, it's also lucky energy, wherein all we touch may turn into gold. The truest alchemical transformation is, however, when we can transform ourselves. This is part of the work that we are called to do during this full moon. Now, the ancient traditional ruler of Aquarius, Papa Saturn, is opposing Mercury at this lunation. This can be an indicator of the voice of the divine coming in which we receive powerful downloads and insight, very much in line with the striking and sudden intuition of Aquarius. Yet we may also need to navigate those murky waters of negative projection so that we can achieve the highest potential of this utopian full moon. So I'm going to take a little break, and when I come back, I'm going to have horoscopes for all of you for this full moon.
Visit EssentialZodiac.com to check out the Essential Zodiac's 10th anniversary specials, including the Solar Return special for those of you born in August. You can find the Essential Zodiac on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. On YouTube, look for episodes under Cynthia McNulty. Back to you, Cindy.
Thanks, Audrey. Okay, you guys, so horoscopes for this Aquarius full moon. Aries. One moment, you're a little social butterfly, Aries, and the next, you're pushing everyone away like they've just done the most offensive thing you can imagine. You really dislike being alone, yet you can't make up your mind if you want to party or if it's time for Netflix and chilling. How about the middle ground? With this full moon taking place in your 11th house, how about you get social online and Netflix and chill? That way you'll have your cake and get to eat it too. And, sometimes it is okay for us just to want our own company. It's a good to recharge, especially very energetic Aries. You need downtime too. So now Taurus, you may be feeling a little impulsive when it comes to your career, Taurus, which is ironic because the words impulsive and Taurus seldom work together. Audrey, yes, my Taurus Audrey over here is laughing at that one. Very true, right, Audrey?
Oh, you got to plan it all out,
Yeah. You're feeling that rebellious energy, though. You're feeling called to take ownership of something and to go to hell with what others have to say about it. Just be careful that you don't take it too far and end up ticking off the wrong person. Gemini. With the full moon taking place in your 9th house, you're feeling the need for speed, and whether it be by plane, train, or automobile, you are ready to get out there. The unfortunate thing is that travel, at least very far, may not exactly be possible, not to mention that you really don't even know where you want to go. Perhaps think about it a moment before making an impulsive decision that puts a large dent in your wallet. And I have a few close friends who work for the airlines, and it's bad out there this summer because of all the weather and all the cancellations. It's really, really difficult to get flights and to be guaranteed your flight won't get canceled. So, maybe you want to cross out taking an airplane ride until maybe the fall. So, that comes from industry in the know folks. And now Cancer. Oh, sweet Cancer, I feel for those who are close to you with this full moon taking place in your 8th house. All of your feelings are rising to the surface, and the truth is, you're not really here for it. You are definitely pushing back against what's coming up, which only makes its resistance tougher. If I can offer one piece of advice, try not to bite too many heads off of those around you. It sounds more like a Leo, doesn't it? But here's Leo. Here we go, guys.
Speaking of.
Yeah, speaking of. That was a nice segue. You're off, then on, and then off again, Leo. And part of me thinks you may actually like it a little bit. It's a bit of an emotional roller coaster that gives you those peaks and valleys that makes your tummy drop. With the full moon in Aquarius, however, you could be in another off period, and while I'm sure it won't be for long, the least you could do is to try and think about this pattern and what it's really serving for you. Okay, Virgo. Virgo, it's time for you to get physical. And really, I don't care if it's in the bedroom, the boardroom, or the gym, but it's time for you to take a look around you and examine where you've been the most neglectful. The Aquarian full moon is going down in your 6th house of wellness, which means it's time for you to start paying attention to those areas that have been left collecting dust. Libra. Now would not be a great time to post anything super personal on social media. And honestly, all the signs out there, it's never, ever a good time to post anything really super personal on social media. There's only a few things, maybe getting married or, if you've had a baby, but there are limits, people, and there's TMI out there way too often.
And that stuff does not go away.
No, it never goes away. You know, you'll be 50 years old and someone will bring up something you posted on YouTube 50 years ago. So, but back to Libra. In fact, Libra, this would not exactly be a great time for sharing much of anything personal, even with those super close to you. With the full moon taking place in your 5th house of expression, you will send mixed messages and potentially let something slip that you are not able to back up. This energy is just a little too spiky for you to let anything loose that you may later regret. Scorpio, what you'll crave most with this full moon in your 4th house is just some good old-fashioned time alone. You're tired of dealing with other people and instead just want to disconnect entirely. With the full moon taking place in your 4th house, home is definitely where your heart is. It's also where you can do your best decompressing since you're feeling even moodier than normal. So anybody who loves a Scorpio out there, just give them a little grace for the next 2 weeks until the new moon in Leo, and then they'll perk up. Sagittarius, you're going to feel quite compelled to say it like you mean it with this full moon taking place in your communications zone, Sagittarius. These may be things that you had brewing inside for a long time. Instead of rebelling against the curve and trying to resist, as you have for quite some time, you're just letting it out. And I'm going to guess that it's going to feel good enough for you to wonder why it took you so long to say it loud and clear sooner. So now, Capricorn. You're a little all over the place, Capricorn, with the full moon in Aquarius in your 2nd house of worth and value. You're feeling simultaneously proud of what you attained and yet worried about what the future holds. There's been a lot of change that's taken place in a relatively short amount of time, and you don't exactly handle change well. Rather than get nervous, know that you're bringing in some really major energy that will help amplify your bottom line, not lower it. So that's good news. And there you go. And now Aquarius, a full moon in your sign with this chaotic cosmic energy may not be ideal, but you could still make the best of it if you try. This would be a good time to take a little time away all on your own. Get an Airbnb and carve time out to do your own thing. Contemplate what freedom means to you, but also consider what changes you want to make in your life. What have you been leaving unappreciated, and what changes are you prepared to make? And finally, last but not least, Pisces. The 12th house is perfect for you, Pisces. Here, the mysteries get revealed. The intuition is dialed high, and your more introverted hermit mode makes you primed to avoid all the drama that is going down in the cosmic sphere. Instead, you can spend some time in meditation or pulling out your tarot cards to see what type of changes are ahead of you. This alone time is exactly what you need, and it's a good buffer from all that is going on outside. So there you have it, my friends. All you need to know about the full moon in Aquarius. So our next episode, episode 41, will be the new moon in Leo. The air date for that is August 11th, and I hope you tune in. Now remember, with astrology, you can chart your life's course.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Essential Zodiac Podcast. New episodes come your way every other Friday with special episodes from time to time. Be sure to visit essentialzodiac.com to take advantage of the 10th anniversary specials. And while you're there, we hope you'll consider becoming a patron to help support production of the podcast. Just click on Become a Patron to learn more. This podcast is produced at Muddy Creek Studios.